News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP is our number. What a huge night. What a huge day. Because RFK Jr. officially endorsed Donald J. Trump today. And that is a huge deal. Absolutely huge deal. Here's a little bit of what he said today, among many, many, many other things. Let's go. Here we go.
At the palace coup against President Biden, the same shadowy DNC operatives appointed his successor, also without an election. They installed a candidate who was so unpopular with voters that she dropped out in 2020 without winning a single delegate. My uncle and my father both relished debate. They prided themselves on their capacity to go toe-to-toe with any opponent in the battle over ideas. They would be astonished to learn of a Democratic Party presidential nominee who, like Vice President Harris, has not appeared in a single interview or an unscripted encounter with voters for 35 days.
We've been listening to independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
That's the fake news CNN cutting away. They don't want because he goes and he waylays. I'm sure you've heard pieces of it. He waylaid the fake news media for collaborating and conspiring to shut him out. He destroys Joe Biden and the Democrats and Kamala for shutting him out of the Democrat candidacy and not even having a legitimate debate with him and kicking him off the ballot, even though he's a legitimate Democrat. So he went indie. He just dropped out. Now there's huge tea leaves on this. Huge tea leaves. Here's why Kamala went up when she joined and she officially was replaced Biden. Here's why she went up. The numbers for RFK Jr. went down the moment within days of her taking over for Joe. Her numbers went up with Joe. His numbers went down. What does that mean? All the Democrats who were not in support of Joe Biden, they went to RFK Jr. And that's that big burst you saw of Kamala going up and him going down. It literally is almost exactly proportionate. And I heard many pollsters and experts say that throughout the day on multiple different sources, channels, and in print. Axios saying that, quoting Pew Research Center, saying they did a survey conducted earlier this month, found that Harris' 6-point bump in July came from those who had previously reported supporting or leaning towards Kennedy. So it's true. So what does that mean? There's still about 5 or 6% left over for Kennedy. He's telling them to go to Trump. I talked to somebody today who I work with who was going to go for Kennedy, and now he says there's no way in heck he's going for Kamala, and he's considering Trump. He might vote third party still. What does that mean? That means there's a good chunk of Kennedy people that will go to Donald J. Trump. And what does that mean? That means that, do you know the race was decided by, I was reminded about this today by the pundits, the race was decided with Joe Biden versus Trump by 44,000 votes. That literally is it. 44,000 votes in a few swing states is what made the difference, or a handful of swing states. This is going to get a lot more than 44,000 votes. I heard Jesse Waters break it down from what he has gathered today on Fox News late this afternoon into the early evening. And the numbers were, I can't remember exactly, but it's like 12,000 in Georgia, which is more than Trump lost by. So that means that could make up the difference in last time that he lost to give him a win. He also has Georgia Governor Kemp's. He finally made friends with him, and Kemp is giving him his network in that state, which is powerful. Georgia's going to be one now, I believe, strongly. I mean, totally. Also in Arizona, that gets a couple, I think 22,000 votes or so. So this is a big deal. And now it's a matter of flushing her policies out, and she is still hiding. It's unbelievable how this woman is hiding. It's profound, actually. She is afraid to do an interview. She is afraid to do a press conference because she always messes up when she does interviews. So this is fascinating to watch, and I feel much stronger today than I did yesterday, especially after I got all the tea leaves read and the intel from many different sources, including the ones I just shared with you. Here's the questions I have for you. How do you think RFK Jr.'s withdrawal from the race impacts Trump's chances of winning? And what role do you think RFK Jr. should play in the Trump administration? Because reportedly, Trump told CNN on Tuesday that he absolutely is open to playing a role. Kennedy playing a role in his administration. And reportedly, Kennedy was saying today that he wants to do, and he was talking about having a role where it's a threefold thing. He will do something with diseases, health, and I forget the third one. It's in my pile of stuff here, but these are things that they agree on. And as you heard at the top of the hour news with a soundbite playing, by the way, chime in right now. We got lines wide open. We got 4 or 5 minutes before I have to stop for a little bit. So get on the phone now. Call in right now, and we'll put you right on. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. How do you think RFK Jr.'s withdrawal impacts Trump's chances of winning, and what role do you think RFK Jr. should play in the Trump administration? 800-288-WBAP. That's 800-288-9227. Here we go. He will have the problem. Kennedy said that Trump had offered him the opportunity to work with in his administration to solve the problems facing American public health, nutrition, and big pharma. They're going to take on big pharma. They're going to do what Joe and Kamala pretend to do, but to get their gills stuffed with cash from Big Pharma. And you know it, and I know it. Boy, did they give Pfizer $1 billion or whatever it was, several $100 billion, and trying to shove the vaccine down your throats. Kamala still won't hire you if you're not like quadruple vaccinated. What a joke these people are. But that's good. And I do think he should get a role in the administration. And as long as it's something that they agree on, and if it is, I'm totally fine with it because I'm a big Trump guy anyways. So he's not going to put him in somewhere. He's not going to put him in charge of vaccines because Trump is still for the vaccines and such. Fine. You go where the common ground is. Trump did something. Kamala stiff-armed. She would not even meet with him. Do you understand that? I told you about that the other day. She would not even meet with him. And now she's going to get screwed over by him. Do you understand literally kicking a guy off the Democrat ticket, suing him and getting him off all the ballots, shutting him out, having the media shut him out? You have literally driven him to your enemy who will now most likely beat you. Because once again, you defeat yourselves, Democrats, just like with Hillary. And having the press conference and saying she did break the law, Comey went to help her, and he hurt, and we won. So you guys are doing it again. You're doing rope-a-dope on yourselves. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for being undemocratic, against democracy. I'm not quoting me. I'm quoting RFK Jr. Being undemocratic, against democracy, for censorship, for lawfare against him and Trump. He said that today. He literally is taking everything Trump has said about the Democrats and who they are and what they do. And he had a press conference today and confirmed everything from a guy who's a Democrat, now an independent, because they destroyed him. It's amazing. They refused to meet him on the playing field and beat his butt naturally with hard work. Instead, they banished him. So they got him right back. He's right next to him now, and he's kicking their butts. I think it's beautiful. I love it. Lines wide open. Chime in right now. How do you think RFK Jr.'s withdrawal from the race impacts Trump's chances of winning? And what role do you think RFK Jr. should play in the Trump administration? Are you comfortable with him working in a position where he would work with public health, nutrition, and the pharmaceutical industry? I am fine with that. Totally fine with that. He's not going to go where I don't want him to go and where Trump doesn't want him to go. Coming up next, I'm going to share more with you on this. More specifics of what RFK Jr. said in his press conference. We'll get a little more audio of him speaking today, as well as Trump speaking today. And there is I'll give you more details on Trump's rally in Arizona tonight and whether or not he was a special guest and he showed up there, or if he has yet or hasn't yet. I don't know. I'll get that for you coming up next as well at 16 after the hour. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. It's Chris Crock on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all.
what most alarms me isn't how the Democratic Party conducts its internal affairs or runs its candidates. What alarms me is the resort to censorship and media control and the weaponization of the federal agencies. When a U.S. president colludes with or outright coerces media companies to censor political speech, it's an attack on our most sacred right of free expression, and that's the very right upon which all of our other constitutional rights rest. During the 16 months since I declared, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, and CNN combined gave only 2 live interviews from me. Those networks instead ran a continuous deluge of hit pieces with inaccurate, often vile, pejoratives and defamatory smears. Some of those same networks and colluded with the DNC to keep me off the debate stage.
By the way, if you're one of the RFK Jr. supporters, what are you going to do now? That's something that's important for me to ask. And I won't try to, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I won't try to change your mind. It'll be fascinating to pick your brain. Listen to this. I just retweeted another picture. It is Kamala when she was there a couple weeks ago at this same venue in Arizona, and it shows massive drapes up because it shows all the seats that were empty, covered up. Holy crap. I mean, the entire top section was empty of Kamala. Oh, even more. It's like, dude, there's the 2 top sections are vacant. You can see it myself on there. And then the one with Trump shows literally the whole freaking place is packed. That's amazing. That is profound, guys. She had curtains up because she couldn't fill the place. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to win because the rallies are misleading. Now, this is a different reason to have a rally because this is with him and it's a massive public appearance. That's cool, but the rallies don't bring in new votes, just so you and I know, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But this is different. This is huge. They're having a show together, if you will, an appearance. I'll pop a minute off from their appearance in the past hour. Here's RFK Jr. on the stage.
A few hours after the assassination attempt at Butler, I got a call from a safe food advocate named Kelly Means, who's been fighting for many years to try to end the corruption at CDC and FDA and USDA.
This already sounds good.
And these institutions, these regulatory agencies are actually run by the big food processing companies, the big ag and the chemical companies that they're supposed to regulate. And he said to me that he'd been advising me for many years and on my campaign. And he told me that night that he was also advising President Trump. And he asked if I would talk to President Trump. And I said, of course. And about a few minutes later, I got a call from the president. And we talked. We had a very good talk. And then he invited me to come see him the next day. And let
me pause right there. Kamala would not even see him. She wouldn't even meet with him. She totally basically gave him the bird. She stiff-armed him. That's the kind of administration they are. It's just like Biden, just like Obama. Well, just like Obama. They don't care about anything but themselves. This is bad. This is a deep signal right here. To me, it is. This is much deeper than I was thinking. I want to play a little bit more, but I want you to chime in right now. 800-288-WBAP. Lines wide open. 800-288-9227. How do you think RFK Jr.'s withdrawal impacts Trump's chances of winning? By the way, Axios, liberal Axios, citing the Pew Research Center that shows this is going to really help Trump. Almost certainly will help him who tends to perform worse in polls when third-party candidates are included. Kennedy talked about today in his presser continued legal warfare against him and Trump from the Democrats. Kamala hasn't won a single delegate for a 2020 race and accused her of ignoring the press. till now, at least, and still continues to ignore them. He throws his support by Trump, the cause of free speech, the war in Ukraine, and the war on children. That's the butchering of children's bodies and the drugs for the children's bodies for puberty stuff. Blockers. Neocon military adventures, because Harris will take us to war. She supports the Ukraine war. He says that's so all this stuff Trump's against. Trump is not in the pocket for any of these big pharma, big food. This is huge. Let's play a little bit more. If I can hit the button.
I went to Minneapolis and saw him. We met again a couple of weeks later in Florida. And we talked not about the things that separate us because we don't agree on everything, but on the values and the issues that bind us together.
Okay, that's coming together to work for this country. That's freaking amazing. That is what's missing, and everybody says that's what's missing. Here it is, guys. That's unbelievable to me. It really gives me some goosebumps. A sham primary, he said today, that was rigged to prevent any serious challenge to Biden. RFK Jr. said in his presser, DNC engineered a surge of popularity for President Harris based on nothing. Who needs policy if you have Trump to hate, he said. Biden mocks Russian president for winning his elections with 88% of the vote. The Democrat Party and the DNC-aligned mainstream media networks operated the same way as Russia, he said. Isn't this freaking great? This is a narrative that wins. In the name of saving democracy, the Democrat Party itself is trying to dismantle it, Kennedy said. They did it by weaponizing the government agencies. This is freaking awesome, isn't it? Well, I'm happy. Look at Virginia. It showed Trump down by Harris by 3 with RFK in there. Now RFK's 6 points. Maybe Trump may win. Virginia is totally in play now. He could win Virginia. And I heard that earlier on. Katie Pavlich said it on Fox. This is huge, guys. All right, coming up next is Kamala's speech last night, her acceptance speech. How comfortable are you with 4 more years of the same policies we've had under Biden-Kamala? Because that literally is what she said last night. We're going to break it down and get your reaction next on the Chris Crock Show at 33 after the hour on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
That this is a person who's been right next to Joe Biden executing on the policies that you say have driven you crazy over the last 4 years. And there's really just a simple question for Trump to ask. If you're upset about the direction of the country, maybe you don't put the people in charge who are already in the White House. If the people are so upset with Biden and Harris on the economy, if the Republicans tie her to it, all of the other stuff falls away because it's the most important. How far can she run away from Joe Biden to prevent the Republicans from portraying her as the incumbent and then firing her as the incumbent? The country is off on the wrong track. People believe it. They still have economic anxiety.
Here's the problem. That was Scott Jennings on CNN last night. Here's the problem after her speech. She literally gave Biden policies. She did not add anything new. It was platitudes with no specifics. It has been more than 6 weeks since this woman announced, or at least 4 weeks. I think it's been almost 6. And she has still not told you one of her policies. She told you one. And it was called communist by the freaking Washington Post, destroyed by CNN, destroyed by the New York Times, destroyed by everybody and their brother that is liberal. And now today she tries to pretend it's not price controls through her surrogates. She doesn't even try to pretend anything. She doesn't talk to you. I don't need to talk to you. I won. I win. Excuse me for a second. I got to make sure RFK Jr. doesn't have freedom of speech. I'll be right back. Hold that thought. All right. So last night, I heard nothing new. Did you? I heard no new policies. I didn't hear anything. I heard the platitudes. I heard, making you feel good, but I heard no policy. It was Candy. It was Barbie with no policy. All Barbie girl is what I heard last night. Did you hear any policy in her speech? What is new that she said last night that she shared? Can you name one thing she shared last night that's new as a policy? What did you hear anything different last night than the last 4 years of policy? Did you hear one thing different? No. Same policy on Ukraine, same on Israel, supposedly, same on the economics and all that stuff. I mean, there was literally nothing new, nothing. And she did not distance herself from Joe Biden. In fact, she mentioned him and said working with him, and we're going to work together to finish this, whatever, this off. This woman chained herself to the hips of this man, and you know how badly his policies are. That's why she's hiding them. She is trying to, she didn't even disown his policies. She is there. She's been there for 3.5, 4 years. This isn't day one. January 20th isn't day one. Day one was almost 4 years ago. So here's the questions. Did you hear any new policy last night? What's new that she shared? Did you hear anything different than the past 4 years of policy that you already know of? It's the same old thing is what I heard last night. Did you hear anything specific to stop inflation last night? Anything to stop grocery prices from being so high? And how serious of a threat do you think she is to Trump? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. Lines wide open for you. I heard nothing new, and I think she still is a serious threat to Trump, though. Very serious threat to Trump. I think they are so angry and mad at RFK Jr. today. I think they so regret. They're like, what the heck did we do to this guy? All we had to do was treat him with some decency and respect. Even if we blew him off, we could have treated him nicely and met with him, and just blew him off for that by while giving him a little, blowing a little smoke up his butt and making him feel good. Instead, we stiff-armed him, disowned him, and now it's coming back to hurt us. I heard the same policies on Ukraine. I had the same policies on war in the Middle East. I heard the same thing about hostages held in Hamas, American hostages held by Hamas. I heard the same stuff that have brought us. Restaurant prices are up. Here we go. Restaurant prices are up 23%. That's still going to keep going on. Cost of living is still going to stay up. Your income will still stay down. Gasoline, to this day, is up 51% since January 20th, 2021 when they took over. Gasoline's up 51%. Electricity is up 32%. Airfare is up 23%. Groceries are up 22%. Everything under Kamala, just if you round everything off, it's 20.2% inflation. Everything has gone up 20.2% under Kamala and her policies that she will continue. Real wages are down 3.9%. What does that mean? You may have gotten raises over the past 4 years, but the inflation has taken away 3.9% of your paycheck. You are earning 3.9% less today than the day Trump was left office. 3.9% less. So this is more of the same. Your rent is up 22%. Your eggs are up 47%. Your car insurance is up 54% since Trump left office. K through 12 food for kids K through 12 up 66%. You will get the same for the next 4 years if you vote for Kamala. And that's what she said last night. That's what I heard. What did you hear last night? What specifics did you hear? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Even the New York Times attacked her today. They said her policy positions were total flip-flops from what she believed just a few years ago. She has backtracked on fracking, flipped on Medicare for all, recanted on not considering border crossings criminal, with little blowback, said the New York Times today. Wall Street Journal asking you this. Are you willing to pay $5 trillion for Kamala's vibes? The economy has been growing half as fast as when Kamala Harris took office in January of 2021, half the pace. Annual inflation is twice as high. I want to remind you, the third quarter of Trump's last year, GDP was 32% growth. 32 freaking percent. I think 3.2 is perfection for growth. It was 32%, and then the fourth quarter was 4%. It was perfection. 32% was post-COVID, 4 was normal, and the inflation was 1.4%. Look what they did to you. And I heard nothing different last night. I heard the same old thing. And by the way, what are her policies? Abolishing ICE, decriminalizing illegal crossings. I have every one of these. I can hit play for you and play the sound. Abolishing ICE, decriminalizing illegal crossings for illegals, defunding the police, mandatory gun buybacks to confiscate your guns, nationalized energy, where the whole country is on the same grid and it's all nationalized, banning fracking, banning offshore drilling, abolishing the filibuster, which means only 51 votes can push through radical leftist policy, supporting the Green New Deal, ending private, she co-sponsored that, ending private health insurance, free health care for all, including illegals, free health care for illegals, mass amnesty for illegals, and they're trying to do that right now. Actually, they just slipped through a policy over this week with the DNC. They slipped in a policy giving 500,000 illegals amnesty that they let in, and they're going to keep going. It's unbelievable. Ending the death penalty, abolishing prisons, ending cash bail for the thugs, ending mandatory minimum sentences, imposing a carbon tax, which means you're going to be paying more for anything you buy, and child gender reassignment surgery and hormone replacement therapy. He missed one on this list, the journalist who shared this. She also is for taxpayers. You're going to be paying for transgender reassignment surgery in prisons and sending men into women's prisons, which has resulted in rapes in California, where she made that happen. Oh, she also did Prop 47. Prop 47 said you can't be arrested or charged for any theft up to $950. She is personally responsible for it, and she wrote the way it would be presented on the ballot. She made it look, she called it like a pro, like an anti-crime bill or something. It was a radical pro-crime bill for criminals. She's responsible for lighting California on fire as a Attorney General of the state. Let's go to, can we pop on Jared real fast or no? Yeah. Jared in Haltom City, WBAP. Hey, Jared.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, my friend.
I'm voting with not my pocketbook. I'm voting with my stomach this year.
What does that mean, sir? Tell me why you're doing that. What is that?
That means that the price of everything has gone up. That the extra money I used to have, I don't anymore. So much so that I'm picking and choosing which food I can buy. Basically, people are hungry out here. We're voting with our stomachs.
Did you ever
think what I've been hearing?
Did you ever think you'd be in a situation like this in America?
To be honest, I didn't even know what a Democrat or Republican was before COVID-19. Then I started paying attention, and I didn't think we would ever be here where there's women and men in women's sports, men dressed as girls going to the prom. It's just complete insanity. And it's an insult to our intelligence.
They're going to, one of the new priorities that Kamala and Joe have for our nuclear program with nuclear weapons is, I got to make sure I get this right, but they want to kind of, it's called something like they want to queerify all the nuclear department or something of that nature. I'll get the quote here. I have it here. It's unbelievable. Here, let's see. Give me 1 sec. I got my stack of stuff here like Rush used to have. Hold on. 1 second. Biden-Harris Department of Energy official calls for queering nuclear weapons. Queering, as in queer. Queering nuclear weapons is part of a radical DEI agenda. That's the Harris-Biden person in charge of the nuclear weapons.
I don't know what that means. They're saying it's a nuclear, but it's not.
Well, I don't know how you queer that, but that's their focus, this kind of stuff. So how old are you? And how old?
I am 35.
Okay. Where did you go to school?
I went to Grapevine High School in the Grapevine Colleyville ISD, one of the more wealthier areas in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Wow. Okay. College or right into workforce after high school?
I went straight into the cannabis industry, into Colorado.
Wait a minute. That's amazing. So you're pro-cannabis? I'm a
pro-cannabis Republican, which is kind of,
But you didn't know that, though, until COVID.
Right.
What did Kamala and Joe Biden and Democrats do that made you wake up to all this during COVID?
See, a lot of people think that I'm really gung-ho Trump, which I kind of am right now, but it's more of the stuff that I've seen whenever I watch something and then I watch another YouTube video or I really debunk it and look into it. It just seems like the Democrats, the Biden-Harris administration are lying way more than anybody else.
I think you're right. Isn't it amazing that RFK Jr. today dropped out and said that what the Biden and Harris and Justice Department have been doing to Trump, they did to him? And isn't that profound to have somebody who was running against Trump to turn and say they did the same thing to me that they did to him, and they're a threat to democracy?
Yeah, no, that's completely ridiculous. It insults our intelligence, and everybody can start to see it. And then they spin everything they spin into a racial card or some kind of a card that you can debunk. It upsets me more than anything that my own parents, my dad, my stepmom, they're kind of leaning that way. Until after the old Dr. Joseph Pirelli came on with a dress at the DNC, and then I had to make my dad stand behind that, which he obviously folded. I was like, this is completely ridiculous.
What did that doctor say last night? I didn't catch that part.
It was a couple of nights ago. It was, I think, from the Garden State.
What's the gist? Yeah.
They were announcing that I am Dr. something Joseph, and I go by he, her pronouns. And he goes, we're going to close the page, turn the page on Trump, and then fumbled their words.
Well, listen, I do want to submit to you, since you're in the cannabis industry, you might want to think about, you might be hungry just because you keep smoking so much weed. Appreciate your call, my friend.
I think I want to leave you with is, I don't know how many of your viewers are faith-based, but a lot of the stuff in the DNC are not biblical. No. They're not going with the real Bible, and then they're praying on it, which is even more damning and more insulting and more upsetting.
It is, and I am one of those folk, and we have a lot of those folk that listen to this radio station. I couldn't agree with you more. Great call. Right. Please keep calling, my friend. I appreciate you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. All right, take care, brother. It was very telling, very interesting, isn't it? We speak to a wide array of people. How comfortable are you with 4 more years of the policies we've had under Kamala Biden? That's what she's going to do based on last night's speech. What new policies did you hear in her speech last night, and how serious of a threat do you think she is to Trump? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I've got more on that, but also, how's Texas going to vote in the 2024 election? Brand new poll that just came in on this, coming up at 52 after the hour on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3. Chris Crock Show, 800-288-9227 is our number.
What she did not do was take any amount of responsibility for her current job, which is Vice President of the United States for the last 3.5 years under Joe Biden. There was not an ounce of humility about the inflation gripping the country. You cannot leave the same people in charge. If you believe the country is on the wrong track, if you believe they made all the mistakes on the economy and on immigration, you cannot leave the same people in charge that have run the country off into the ditch. Until she comes up with a good answer for that, which I suspect will have to be litigated at the debate on September 10th, Donald Trump is still in a very good position.
But see, the problem,
she's only agreed to do one debate. She may not even do a second debate. And the problem is she hasn't done a presidential debate ever. She's only done the candidates debate, and she couldn't even get one delegate to vote for her. She dropped out before the delegates started even voting in the primary. So she's never had a debate on the presidential level, one-on-one with a Republican. Last time she debated somebody when she was running for president in 2024 in the Democrat Party, she got her butt whooped hard on the national stage by Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi is coaching Trump. Trump's done 6 presidential debates, I think it was, or 9. She's done 0. Brett in Grapevine, you are on WBAP.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Chris, the comment that I have is about the proposed wealth tax, the 25% wealth tax that they're proposing.
She's proposing?
Basically, yeah.
Is this the one on unrealized gains where...
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I want everybody to understand this. If your house gains value, even if you haven't sold it, they may be able to tax you on that. I heard that one. I didn't think that applied.
Yeah.
But apparently it does. Literally, just your house gaining value, even if you don't sell it, you'll be taxed on that. Your portfolio, if you haven't cashed out, and you get gains on that. But they don't give you any money back when you lose in your investments.
Well, but not only that is, I mean, if you don't have the money to take and pay that, then they'll confiscate your property.
I don't think they can take away your home, but maybe they can, but I don't know what the IRS can do. I know they can do things that you wouldn't imagine they can do, so I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, this is vile. Absolutely vile.
That's the scariest thing that I've heard of her proposal.
Yeah, it is very scary. And wealth is even a misleading term because most of us are not wealthy. So I appreciate your great call, my friend. Thank you. I've got more audio. Her campaign manager, Kamala's campaign manager, is saying why she won't do any interviews when she was asked by a liberal outlet. And you're going to hear two of Kamala's top spokespersons literally grilled on her pathetic economic policies, and all they do is obfuscate. This was two separate interviews in 2 separate days on 2 separate networks with people who are not right-wingers. And they obfuscated and talked over, and it's profound. I'll play a segment. I spent a lot of time pulling this audio for this out of an 18-minute interview and a 6-minute interview just to cut it down to much smaller excerpts. It shows they want to. They don't want you to know anything. They literally obfuscate when asked questions. And then that's not even her. She won't talk to anybody. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I will play you that. You must hear audio coming up on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP. That's 800-288-9227. All of that coming up at 3 minutes after the hour. Wanted to tell you that, and that's it. I have no other things to tell you right now. Stand by.